sort of fell into teaching. I think I got into academia because I love literature, and I mean, I've always, since I was a kid, I've just been a big bookworm anyways. I'm third generation Japanese American, and my parents, when I was a child, had me go to Japanese language school on Saturdays with my sisters. And so you would think that I had learned Japanese there, but I actually fooled around a lot and didn't retain much. And it wasn't until college when I decided that I really wanted to learn to speak Japanese. And in particular, one of the main reasons was to be able to communicate better with my grandmother who lived with us. So I took Japanese language when I was an undergrad at Berkeley. And then that kind of led to, oh, maybe I'll take some literature classes. And I really loved the literature classes. I really try to pick literary texts, short stories and novels and poetry that I think will be exciting or that I think will incite certain responses from the students, whether they really hate it or they really love it. And I'm going to start out talking a bit about Higuchi Ichiro and her life. In 1893, after working at the Haginoya for several years, she realized that she didn't simply want to be a maid and try to do her writing on the side. I lecture for a little bit of the time. The majority of class time is spent on discussion, and I think discussion is really important because it allows students to articulate themselves and their ideas, but also to engage with each other and with me.
She really, really listens to her students, and the way you see that is the way she interacts with you and the way she really tries very, very hard to understand exactly what your point is.
You said raw. I want to pursue that for a second. What do you mean raw?
Everything's such a big deal to him, like, oh, like he could sense Midori's like looking at her. He didn't have to even see her. He didn't know like what to do, like, oh my god, like I have shivers down my back. Shota is more like, I like you, what's wrong? Like, what's going on? Like, talk to me. Oh, you want me to leave? Okay, I'll leave. I'll talk to you later.
Shota is like the manga version, manga kid, and Nobu is like the television drama guy.
Kinda.
Being in her classroom is an opportunity to sit in the classroom with a master teacher. Her patience, the way that she steers a conversation, the way that she makes me think about literature and the other people in the class think about literature, we're so excited about it, we talk about it after class.
Kim's research is in Japanese colonial literature, and this involves literature that was written in Japan about the colonies, or also written in the colonies, really Taiwan, Korea, and Manchuria. Actually, a lot of our students who take her course are second or third generation, or sometimes first generation Chinese or Koreans, whose families, whose grandparents perhaps have had the experience of living under Japanese, the imperial Japan, and living as colonists in Japan. And it was a very difficult time and very unhappy time. So there's certainly a great deal of sensitivity.
The tact that I take with when we study colonialism is not so much just to be critical, but more to look at this as, look at what happened and say, how did this happen? How did people allow this to happen? How did this comfort women system come into being? How did all of these Chinese slave laborers get sent to Japan and exploited in this way? More recently, in the past few years, in working on the research on colonialism, I started thinking a lot about the positions of these Japanese writers in the colonies and the sort of instability that they experience was similar in some regards to the instability that Japanese Americans faced during World War II. My parents were interned in Tule Lake, and Tule Lake was the internment camp that many of the Japanese who refused to sort of swear allegiance to the United States were sent. My parents talked about camp, which my sisters and I thought was summer camp, for a while, until we got older. They would talk about, oh, we did that in camp.
I'm a Korean student. I have my advisor who is Japanese American feminist. It just feels really special for me, and my parents do too, about the fact that I'm learning all this, all these critical theories about colonialism, culture, politics from this Japanese American teacher. I came to Smith because this is a college where I could learn about gender and sexuality and, pursue my interest in women's studies. But I also felt my first year somewhat conflicted about my positions here, where I belong. Do I belong to the Korean community here, or do I belong to the queer community here, or do I belong to the women's studies community here? And Professor Kono was very supportive of this process that I was questioning my identity. She was not afraid to offer me advices from her personal experiences as well. I'm really proud to be her student. Yeah.
It's a very productive year for her. She got tenure, her publication is coming up, she had a baby.
My son was born June 24th. His name is Kai Kase Webster. Kai means ocean in Japanese. He was born on the 24th of June. Labor started in the afternoon of the day that I turned my manuscript into Palgrave, so I was done. And then I was walking around Target and I thought, oh gee, I'm so tired. I must be tired from all the work from the manuscript. And I got home and then I called my husband. I said, I think I'm going into labor.
Hello, shy guy. Hello, shy guy.
He gets me to look at things from a new perspective. Not to say that my son is like a literary text in any way, but I think one of the things that I love about teaching literature, for example, is that you get the privilege of reading or experiencing these new perspectives. I'm able to sort of take these Zen moments and sort of sit there with him and just enjoy his presence and his personality, whether he's fussy or he's smiling. So there's that kind of wonderful learning experience from him.